understand what does it mean to be a manifester. A manifester is a person that understands that his thoughts and his emotions and his general state of being always emanates towards the outside, whatever it is that he's feeling, thinking, and wanting. It's sort of like saying to the universe, this is what I expect you to bring me. Now, most people don't understand that when they are negative, when they are complaining, when they are victimizing themselves, then this is what the law of the universe will attract to them. So in the manifestation workshop, we work an understanding with NLP methods and subconscious methods and the words we choose, how we are actually the creators of our own reality. And we go deeper into the mental body. The mental body is the body that understands. The purpose is to begin the 10-day process with the understanding that certain things that we've been taught, they're not real. This is just an illusion, a part of the illusion of life. And the more we go into it, the more we understand that we are a spirit in human form, and our will and our intention has a lot to do with whatever it is that we experience in life. So to be a breatharian, one of the things that are very important is to be a manifester. First of your own reality, beginning with your physical body, to manifest health, to manifest abundance in your own reality and creation. And afterwards you go out into the world and you understand that you can use this manifestation ability to everything else. Absolutely everything else. More responsible for our connection to the divine and our thoughts, our logic. The three lower chakras are responsible more for our emotion, our connection to the planet. And the heart chakra is the one that actually emanates everything out. So it's always going to be a combination of what we are thinking and what we are feeling. Always. It will always be this type of balance. That's why sometimes when we overthink things and we don't feel anything, it doesn't work. And we're too much into the emotion and not much into the logic at all, that it doesn't work. And once again, it's a combination of feminine and masculine energies. I mean, the feminine being more in the emotional side and the masculine being more in the logical side. What can manifestation bring us? Everything. You are already manifesting everything. You are completely responsible for your thoughts and your emotions on this planet and bringing whatever it is that you need to bring in order to live your own unique human experience, you can say. So we talked about two types of responsibilities. The one that is responsible for myself and my emotional state, and the other one, a higher state of responsibility, is that being responsible for the story I'm involved in. Okay? If I was in a car crash, what am I learning from this car crash? Why have I pulled this experience to my life? There is a responsibility to be taken there as well. So everything, even our financial situation, if we are in love, not in love, if we spend enough time in nature or with ourselves, everything is eventually our own responsibility. And when we manifest, we can manifest a different life. We usually manifest according to what we think we deserve. Need to connect battery. Yeah, thanks. To what we think we deserve and what we remember, what we think from the past that we can achieve. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. I have a friend that his family is very, very wealthy. Okay, when we're sitting in Friday evenings, and when we used to sit in Friday evenings, I used to listen to their conversations. And what they usually talk about is they don't talk about how am I going to get a small raise in my salary or how am I going to achieve this small thing. They were always talking about in the bigger picture. They talk about bigger numbers. So a person that is born into this type of financial welfare, you can say, he thinks differently. And us as normal people, we usually go up the ladder. We begin from the smallest amount, and then every time we get a small, a small raise at work and we're a little bit happier, but we never make the bigger jumps unless something big happens. Why? Because our mind cannot really take it seriously. We cannot really believe that we can achieve that because we think small. We came from, like in India, a person that is born to a shoemaker, he will usually want to become a shoemaker and he won't want to change. Also, our mind is very limited in what we believe we can achieve. And that's why we always, when we always grow in small steps. But you can make big steps. You can make huge steps if you just change the way you think about it. And we'll talk about that. For higher self, being able to watch and influence from a different part without time or space. But before, to understand this, we really need to understand, or this is a story that I wanted to use to explain to you what is the vibration. We are always talking about being in a higher vibration. In a higher spiritual entities are in a higher vibration than we are. And to understand vibration, we need to understand that our own consciousness is completely split into many, many different levels. The higher the state of our emotional state is, the higher our vibration. The lower the state, that when we are in a negative place, then the lower our vibration. But it's also in the planet itself, there's different types of vibrations, 7 actually, split apart. The first, we can say, octave of vibrations are the elements. The elements meaning the ground, the rocks, and the highest vibrational part of the first octave are the crystals. The second are the plants. The higher vibrational inside the plants are usually the fruit-bearing trees or the flowers. The third one is the animal kingdom. From the lowest vibration of the animals, usually the simplest forms, to the highest, which is coming closer and closer to us. But the highest vibrations are the ones that are actually coming closer to the next octave, which is humans. And these are cats, dogs, horses, dolphins, and whales, and others such as those. The fourth, the fifth, and the sixth are reserved for human beings. Most of us are somewhere in between the fourth and the fifth vibration, and only a few are in the sixth and the seventh, and we usually not hear about these people. These are the people that are holding the highest frequencies on the planet, and they're usually more in the area of Tibet and in the east. They're sort of like the balance, because even the planet has a feminine side and a masculine side. And right now the West is considered the masculine side, because we are unbalancing everything. And you will notice that the higher the vibration, for example, of an animal, then it's more and more like a human. For example, if we're here and we're deciding not to eat for a very long time, then I will give you an example from that world. You'll notice that you don't have any fat zebras, or fat scorpions, or fat snakes, okay? But you will have a fat cat, and you will have a fat dog, okay? You won't have a fat elephant, it's just built that way. Why is that? It's because the higher the vibration, the closer it gets to us. And we are living in a world of complete free will. So we can destroy our body if we want to. We can murder and we can rape and we can have wars. Or we can choose to do good. We can choose to treat our body respectfully. We can choose to respect each other, etc., etc. So they are actually kind of mixing in between. And also as a human being, we can elevate our frequency. One of the things that we are doing here in the 10-day process is elevating our frequency. The higher the frequency and the vibration, the less we're supposedly unconscious. We're becoming more conscious of ourselves. But also something amazing happens. Our manifestation abilities and the thoughts that we think are beginning to synchronize with the reality. Okay? The more we say truth and the higher our vibration, the more whatever we say will actually be created. We believe it and we say it as if it's going to happen. And why is that? You've probably heard about the movement or the ascension to the fifth dimension. It's not going to be a different dimension than this. We're still going to have the physical world. But the fact of the matter is that the only entrance to that higher dimension is that when you are completely clear with yourself and you have a good intention, because the manifestation there is instantaneous. And if you have a place where all humanity right now will be able to enter, and some of us are really thinking negative thoughts, some of us are thinking violent thoughts, some of us are thinking unhealthy thoughts for others. So they will not be able to enter a place that the manifestation abilities are instantaneous there, for obvious reasons, because, well, I can just imagine somebody thinking about a crazy monkey-eating dinosaur that is going to tear all the world apart and suddenly creates that, and so just think about it that way. We are on the path towards that higher consciousness, and it requires several stops along the way where we are cleaning ourselves. Okay, eventually all the souls will ascend, but it might take time for some souls, more time than others. I know that for me particularly, since I understood that this is a path and there's a time, and I can be a rabbit or I can be a turtle, I decided to do it as quickly as I could and started cleaning myself and cleaning myself and cleaning myself, pretty much because I don't want to come back here so many times. I just want to do it quickly and go back to my old position. So I want to show you what it means in vibration but in a more physical way.
Notice that
the vibration,
this is an experiment we can all do. The higher the vibration, the more complex the shape will become.
Consciousness as well. This is just example from different patterns from older species, and you probably recognize these ones on a turtle or tortoise, and we can see the same thing. And they actually found a lot of different vibrational frequencies, and they compared them to different animals, and they saw that the more complex the entity is, the higher the vibration is. So this is a chart that pretty much explains all of our higher vibrations, or all of our different consciousness levels. We are very aware of this one, where we are in the matter. What we talked about yesterday, about the other body, the emotional body, is where the passion and feelings. I'm not going to go through all of them, just the important ones. The intuition, the will, and you can say the universal self, which is our higher self, where we are connected to all that is, okay? Where we pull a lot of the information, okay? Where a lot of the times that our intuition is talking to us. And the will is like the group intention that we have here, okay? The intention is much stronger, sort of like knowing is stronger than believing. You remember from today's lesson, we talked about the fact that she talked about the fact that when you know something, it's strong, because what you emanate to outside is that this is knowledge. It means it has to happen. But when you believe something, then you are putting a small doubt in it. When it's like when you want something, you want it, but you're not sure that you're going to get it, instead of just saying, I have it. That's why when we are talking about manifestation, we are always talking about present form. You feel as if you already have whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a new love, it can be a financial situation, it can be material possession, it can be a certain emotion. Sometimes I just want simplicity. So I will feel like I have simplicity. I will connect to my future self as if that is the only potential future path in my life, and I will feel how he will feel when he has that simplicity. For example, when Tal introduced me to the whole breatharian, I felt that my future self is calling me and telling me, Ray, you have to come towards me. You already did this. Okay, it's already done. And for most of you, it's already done. You're already here. It's going to happen anyway. You're just enjoying the path that you have pre-chosen, you can say. And what we are using is the imagination. The imagination in the workshops, in the breathing exercises, the visualizations. Just imagine it. You think that your imagination is not limited, but can you imagine a color that does not exist? Try. No. We get stuck. So we are sort of like limited, but we can use this imagination, because the imagination connects between the physical matter and the universal self. This is the place that we manifest. These are the games that we are playing when we have time for it. Instead of thinking negative things about what I didn't do today, or what I have to do, or the lists of to-do lists that I have all my life, and not closing the end of the month, and I have I don't know, financial issues and everything like that. Instead of that, focus on the positive. Okay? Always focus on the positive. What do I want? Am I happy? What is going to get me to be happy? Because when we are bitching and whining and complaining, we are creating a reality that will cause us to bitch and whine and complain. But if we are always thinking about what we actually want and focus on that, when we try to complain about someone, then we are actually making more energy and causing that someone to be more of a person that will cause us to complain. And when we completely accept him and not judge him, then we're actually helping him, because he will feel that he is completely accepted. And instead of being a person that does not want to change towards love or towards a positive side, then he will suddenly feel that we are accepting him as he is, and he might start changing by himself. And this happens all the time. I want to introduce you to Bashar, those who don't know him. Bashar is an amazing, you can say, alien or entity from the fourth dimension. We have, in our octave, there's between 7 and 11 different dimensions. He's one of the messengers that come to help. There's about 4 or 5 big channelers in the world, I can say, between the 25 that are famous. I really connected with his material. About 10 or 15 years ago, I started listening to him. And I understood that there's a lot of logic
except for the fact that he never laughs, but he's funny, which I really like. He talks a little quickly. I'm very happy that everyone here is an English speaker, because usually people that I teach are not always in native English speakers. So listen, it's 8 minutes, and it will feel more like 5 tomorrow in the second part. So, the 4 laws. The first one, you exist. We don't have much to discuss here. The second one is, you are actually a reflection of all that is, meaning a change inside you will cause a change in everything else, and everything contains all the information. The big picture is contained in the little picture. For example, if we look at a tree, and then we understand that the tree has seeds, and every little seed has all the information of how to create the exact same tree. Same thing with our DNA. Every cell in our body has DNA that knows how to create the whole person, okay, exactly as he is, even with character and memories, because we are actually sort of like a reference to our true self anyway. So that's the second law. Remember the third law? The third law is the reflection, what we call the karmic rules, that everything that we actually emanate towards outside is whatever is going to come back to us. So if we are a smiley person and we smile to everyone, it makes sense that people will smile back. And if we are an angry person, it makes sense that people won't feel that good and they won't smile at us at all. So reality is just like a mirror, and I really like the way that he put it. You cannot force the mirror to change. You can only force yourself to change. And in forcing yourself to change, you accept complete responsibility, because you understand that the vibration that you are putting out is whatever is going to come back to you. Okay? Another few things he talked about, following our joy. This is a big lesson. I actually went to 12 different lessons with the guy that channels Bashar. He has 17 different channelers all over the world, and one of them is in Israel. And we learned a lot about that. But what does it mean to follow your joy? You ask yourself, okay, I'm working right now, and I want to go to the beach. So should I really right now go to the beach instead of working? Because that might get me in trouble. Or I want to feed my kids, or all of that stuff. So what really excites us is thinking about what's going to excite us in the medium range, in the long-term range, or immediately. So for example, when I'm at work and I really want to go to the beach, I'm trying to think about, okay, but if I'll get fired, then in about a week's time I won't be as happy. So I won't be in a joyful state. But yes, if right now I'm sitting with a bunch of people that are not accepting me and are not loving me, then maybe I should just walk away. And just like Esther Hicks said this morning, maybe I should know when to stop calling that friend, okay? Because some friends and some family members and others, they're not exactly in the same vibration that we are anymore. And we're constantly changing. And what we're doing is we're holding on to relationships, we're holding on to old habits that we no longer need, that no longer serve us. And we are having a really difficult time letting go. Sometimes it's in relationships. We keep on the relationship because we have this fear of being alone, because we have this fear of change. And this is a fear that is derived from the ego. The ego doesn't want change. The ego likes the comfort zone. But the only place that we really grow in life is when we are deliberately stepping out of our comfort zone. You remember the memories that you have, that you became stronger, are from difficult situations, are from heartbreaks, financial.
We are now as a humanity in the phase of wanting, of having, okay? And it's fine, it's really good. The spiritual people or the spiritual ego wants to say that he's only in the being, but we are moving between the having and wanting to the being. And when we are having, we want material possession, we want a specific partner, we want the best parents in the world, we want. And the manifestation is actually giving it to us, what we are expecting to receive. So for example, one of the best tools in manifestation is to be grateful. Because when we are grateful, we are using the energy of how we feel when we get what we want. And that is the energy that we want to give out to the universe, because then we will get back the energy of how we feel when we get what we want. So the same thing I can use for the negative. A person that always thinks that he's going to be sick, a hypochondric person, then he will eventually get sick, because he always looks and says, oh my God, I have that symptom, and oh my God, I have that symptom, and I must be getting sick. And if you think that you're going to get sick every year when it just gets cool, when the winter is coming, once you're going to have the flu, that's exactly the reality you're manifesting to yourself. And there's so many different rules. For example, manifesting when you're praying for a friend that's sitting in the hospital. They're actually doing something that is altruistic, something that is not from your own ego and for yourself. So it has even a bigger and greater energy in manifesting. And a group of people manifesting together will create a much bigger thing, issue, service, event, it doesn't matter. For example, religions are a manifestation of a lot of people who are putting their energies into them. And with tools like affirmations, why do affirmations work? When is the best time to use affirmations? For example, using affirmations just before we go to sleep. 10 minutes before we go to sleep, the mind, the subconscious is susceptible. It's like a sponge, and it's ready to receive. And what you're saying when you're affirming, it doesn't matter what it is, like I'm a good person, I'm in better health, I'm in good shape, I'm a greater lover, anything that it is that you want to manifest. The subconscious becomes like an observer of the seeds that you put there. And when you affirm and continue affirming, and this is becoming your life, you fake it until you make it. You fake the smile, and then the body remembers that it's smiling, and all these associations happen in your brain as if the smile was real. So a lot of things. There's many different tools, because each person really remembers and uses particular tools that are better for him, because we're all very unique. The reason why we start with the manifestation subject is because the mental body is the one that is stronger than all the other bodies. Meaning the mental body is the one that has to do with the belief system. So if, for example, I was born in the United States of America, and I've been educated according to television that every time somebody hurts me, breaks my heart, or I have a crash at my work, I will go drinking alcohol. That's, for example, a belief. It's a belief most people are not really aware of, but it's conditioned by the family and by the country you're in, by the television. And when we go into the first thing, the belief system, then the belief system is the one that's going to influence the way we feel about things, and eventually the way that the body will react. Meaning, if I believe I have a strong body, then my body will be strong. And if I believe I don't need food or water for the duration of these 4 days that are the hardest part of the process, then I won't need it. And you can see here with the participants, some believe that it will be hard for them, and it's hard for them. And some believe they're just gonna fly on a magic carpet over the process, and that's what's happened for them. We see their belief because me and the guides, we're very trained to be the observers, and sometimes we understand that certain people, it's gonna be hard for them, it doesn't matter what we say. We know it's a choice. It's a game, and in its game, the actor of the participant, the player, he has a lot more control than he can ever imagine. He just forgot. Crashes, whatever happened to you is what built the person that you are today and made you as strong as you are today. Ewa. Any question about the 4 laws? Oh, good. Okay, basic principles in manifestation. The principle of free will. We're all allowed to be whoever we are. The more we become who we were meant to be, and this is what he said that took me 10 times to listen to really understand. He said we should let go of who we think we are and start embracing who we really are. Now this is a tricky one, because we think we know who we are, but we don't really. The more we let go, the more we find out. The less we think. Okay, well, that's we use our brain to think, because our brain is partly from the mind and partly from the ego. It means that he will show us that he doesn't want to change, and suddenly, when somebody tells us something, immediately we resist, immediately we say, no, that's wrong, and it doesn't work with my belief system, and only after a while we might embed it into our life, or we might rethink about it and stuff like that. So when we stop thinking, when we start understanding who we really are, then this shift occurs of free will and acceptance, because then we actually see that we want to accept not only ourselves, but we begin accepting everything as it is. Meaning we begin to accept people as they are. We stop judging their way of life, because we stop judging ourselves. Everything is a reflection, just like we said in the second law or in the third law. That means that when we look at someone and we see something that we don't like, we see a type of violence, or we're hypocriticism, if you can say it that way, then we're actually looking inside ourselves all the time. And you already know this, because we are all a mirror of one another. But when we understand this and we apply it into the free will, we understand that everything is okay all the time. The world is moving towards a positive future in its own pace. It takes time. And I can tell you that in the global scale, we're moving very quickly. Okay, the amount of changes that happened, that occurred in the last 2,000 years, also occurred in the last 30 years. And then again, faster and faster and faster. So we're sort of like, the curve is like this. We were at the tipping point, and now everything is moving much faster. You probably noticed that a lot of your friends, colleagues, family, they're also changing. They're accepting many things that they didn't accept in the past. The amount of people that stop eating animals out of philosophical decisions are growing more and more every year. Breatharianism was not known until 20 years ago, and only in the last years, thousands and thousands of people are becoming breatharians, naturally with different processes and everything. Unity, the opposite of separateness. There was a great book called The Law of One. It was written by a monk. He was in the dynasty from like 5,000 years ago. They kept the information. It was from Atlantis. And they were talking a lot about the separateness. You know, the fact that we have to be separate here in order to experience the different human emotions and to go through whatever it is that the soul wants to go through. But now is the time that we're beginning to be more in unity, meaning we start to feel each other. Some of us are actually developing a little bit telepathic abilities by the fact that you think about someone and suddenly he calls you. And then you pick up the phone and he said, wow, this is such an amazing coincidence. I just thought about you and you just called me. So no, it's not a coincidence. And the more we are surprised by it, the less it will happen to us. It's not a coincidence because it's by law. We are all connected. We are in unity complete. So it means that if you are really connected with someone, like twin brothers and sisters or friends that are really close to one another, then you can actually feel when he needs you to call, when he wants to meet, or anything like that. All is one, polarity is an illusion, okay? We are in a world of polarity, okay? You already know and understand this. It means that our mind is made to define good and bad. Our mind is made to define beginnings and ends. It's hard for us to comprehend some place that exists that is without time. Even when I talk to a religious person, then I always bring up, okay, so if God created time, what was before time? And then they're like, no, God always existed, so please explain to me, when did he exist? When did he come to be? Why do we need processes? Because a process has a beginning and it has an end. When we want to quit smoking cigarettes, then we need to define a process for stopping, when slowly reduction for most people, because we think we need time. And also with that, it's a type of illusion, because the soul wants to experience, and sometimes it experiences through negative people as well as through positive people. And the more we understand that our vibration is separated into a polarity, the more we understand that we can be on both sides. And the higher people, the higher vibrational people that I know, if they're men, then they will be really connected with the feminine side. And if they are women, they will be really connected with the masculine side, which is more logical. And you will see that eventually we're all going back to the same unity, sort of like an angel that is connected with both sides of the polarity. The good and the bad, and the acceptance, and the female and the male, the black and the white. No real time, all is in the present moment. So it seems to us like time really exists, but when we are in a meditative state, suddenly time disappears. Suddenly we don't feel time as well as we used to. When we are completely happy and doing whatever it is that we feel like doing, like working on an incredible project or really inspired by something, then we notice that time just disappears. We are in the flow, we are in the moment. When we are in love, it also happens. And at the same time, we don't feel hungry because we're being energetically nourished. So manifestation always happens in the present moment. Meaning, when I will talk about it, when I will use affirmations, and we'll get to the tools in a minute. When I use affirmations, I will always use them as if they were in the present moment. Meaning not what I want to have, but I already have it. And the emotion that is leading the manifestation is gratitude. Why? Because when I am grateful, when I'm thankful for something, I am emanating the feeling of getting what I want. Okay? I'm actually saying to the universe, I'm getting what I want right now. So I'm being thankful for that. And that's why so many of the people that we know that are really, really in a high place in their life, they're always grateful for the small things in life, okay? The relationships that really work are the ones that you don't give up and you continue appreciating your partner all the time for the little things that you were in love in the beginning. And instead of that, most people after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, they begin to forget, and then the little things start to annoy them. And it becomes from being appreciative and grateful towards, oh my God, this little thing that it does with his teeth when he eats. and everything that we just find out that is a little different from us. So, no real time. It's always going to be about the same time. And in 2 days from now, we're going to make a list that is called the cuckoo list. Today's the juice, right? Juice and then water. Great. So in 2 days from now, we're going to have like an assignment that we're going to make the cuckoo list. I don't know how to call it in another way. And that cuckoo list is everything that we want in life as if it was in the present form, everything. We're going to talk about the perfect partnership, and we're going to do the perfect job, and the perfect financial situation, and the perfect house, and everything as if we want it. And in the third night of the dry fasting, we're actually going to say it. We're going to say it outside to the universe. Everyone can say it to himself, and we will explain about the assignment. Like I will describe it more with more emphasis on what you need to do, but it's going to be a part of that. And right now, we're going to make a beautiful exercise, an amazing exercise. It will make all of you smile. In this exercise, we're going to split into twos. Partners, don't be with each other, okay? Just meet other people. You're going to talk about the last year that you had as if it was a year from now in the future, okay? As if tomorrow started a new year, and you're talking about the year that you just had. And you're going to talk about the best, absolutely, year of your life. Wonderful. If you wanted to meet a guy on a white shiny horse, amazing, it happened. Everything that you wanted happened because this year was the absolute change of your life and everything happened. Okay, you have no limitations of your bank account, you have no limitations of your travel needs. Open yourself up and understand that you are the only ones that are limiting yourself. Okay? This exercise is supposed to open everything you really want and to make you realize that you can get a lot of the things that you want. Okay? Ask yourself what makes you happy. What do you really want to do? And you'll find out that a lot of the things you're going to describe are things that are within your reach. Okay? Now the other person, each one gets about 7-8 minutes, and you will want more, trust me. And if you do not want more, then there's a problem because you cannot squeeze a whole year in just 7 minutes, you know. You need more than that. And the more you will ask, the more you will see. I want you to think about your habits. I want you to think about your friends. I want you to think about your job. And then the other questions will come up and ask, am I happy in my job? Maybe yes, but maybe I only want to work 2 days a week. Okay, am I happy with my partnership? Maybe yes, maybe I need to change something, maybe I need to add something, maybe something happened and they changed to blah 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 blah. The other person asks the type of question to give details. For example, if I tell him, okay, I went abroad, I went to Hawaii for a 3-week vacation to teach, and he says, really? So what did you do in that time over there? Did you meet anybody special? He's like asking and making your memory of that year a little bit more accurate. And when you say those things, I want you to feel them. I want you to feel as if they really happened. Now, there's one thing I don't want you to do, and that is go too much. Going too much means you didn't start flying. You did not become a gold-laying goose, okay? Because that, the memory, the conscious will not allow, because it will say that that's too crazy, I don't accept it. But anything else you will say, it makes sense to it. So you're actually building a potential future where you're going to get whatever it is that you really want, instead of limiting yourself by your bank account, by your belief system of who you are and who or what you deserve. Do you understand? Do you have any questions about the exercise?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want us to do this exercise in reverse, basically. Talk about our previous year.
Yes, but it's a year that happened from now. Okay. Meaning it's the year that you're going to describe a year from now.
It's the year that we want to happen. Basically.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But as if it has happened.
It's not the one that you want, it's the absolutely most perfect year you can ever
Gotcha.
imagine.
Okay, gotcha,
Much
gotcha.
better than what you want. Okay, because you want little things that will make you happy, and I'm talking about that. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so split into couples. I'll put a timer.
Hey, buddy.
So, everyone come back to here now. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, how was your year? Was it a cool year? Best year of your life? Everything you ever wanted came to be? And things that you didn't even remember you want to imagine that happened. So the purpose is to actually unlimit our mind. What it means that we are the ones that have built all these walls up. We are the ones that are not believing that we deserve enough. And you should really ask yourself, do I believe I deserve it? And the answer is yes. You deserve everything. Okay, you deserve everything that you really want. And eventually you'll get to that place. You might do it in a very, very slow way, or you might do it in a very, very fast way, by self-realization. But we are now moving between the stage of the having and wanting to the stage of the being. It does not mean that having and wanting is a bad thing. A lot of us are stuck in this place that we think that less is more. And we think that money is the root of all evil, and the people that have money or abundance in that form are in some way not good, negative, or they got it in a bad way. And this is a belief that we have to let go. I'm telling you because I know the type of clients, the type of people who come to my workshops, and some of them can't really afford it because they live this type of lifestyle of not wanting a lot. And I'm telling you that if you don't want a lot, then the universe is going to give you very, very little. And that's whatever it is that you want, is that's what we'll get. Now you have to unlearn, because money is just an instrument, it's just a tool. You can use the money that you have to make yourself happier. But if you believe that less is more and that you don't need anything to survive, then that's exactly what you're going to get. Because like we said, this is the thought that you're giving, and this is what you're going to get back eventually. So think with yourself, am I limiting myself? Do I really believe that money is bad? I'm a type of person that lives somewhere between the spiritual and the materialistic world. They both exist together, okay? And the more I evolve, the more I understand that they are the same thing, one piece of a puzzle. Sort of like spirituality and science begin to explain each other, you know? Like with quantum physics now explains how when we are meditating, we can actually feel that we are all connected. So everything is becoming one. And money is just one of many other things. Abundance is not only money. Abundance is doing whatever I want to do, with whoever I want to do it, in the time and in the fashion that I want to do it in. And money is just one of the ways that I can do that, okay? So think, am I limiting myself? Did some of the things that happened during this year, this amazing, beautiful year that I described, are things that I actually am going to do? Why not? Why not do them? Why not learn something new that you wanted to learn for a long time? All these excuses of, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. 90% of the things that you actually wanted are things that you are capable of getting if you want it. Okay? If you're not enjoying the job that you're working in right now, quit. Find something else that is more uniquely identifies you, that makes you happy. That is what you think, you feel you were born to do. It scares us, this change. I know, it scares us. It scares me too. I really love my job, and I feel more and more that I need to do these workshops abroad. And the more I do these type of things, it's amazing that my boss even lets me go every month for 2 weeks. It's amazing, but this was in my cuckoo list 4 years ago when I became a breatharian. I wrote to myself, I want a job that has flexible hours, that pays me much more than I really deserve, and allows me to work from home and to travel and do. And I said to myself when I wrote, it's a cuckoo list. So I said, you know, no limitations. And I actually got it. And I got many, many other things. And right now I'm doing exactly that. I have the flexible hours. I'm working 3.5 days a week. Every month in the spring and summertime, I'm going abroad to teach and things like that. But it was all a manifestation because I wrote it down, because I believed it when I said it, because I believe that somewhere in the world, this situation, this scenario can happen for me. And right now, for example, I'm more of an artist in the last few months, and I believe that somewhere in Israel or somewhere in the world there are people that have the finances and have the will and will treat the works of art that I'm doing in exactly the way that I want them to treat, and the prices that I want and everything. They're there. And I believe that by thinking that I can get them, that they will find me eventually. Sort of like Justin found me, because I believe I'm a manifester. I know that the people that are out there will find me eventually. So I let go of the responsibility of doing it myself. But in some things, we have to act. Some things, it's not enough that we're just saying that we believe, but we have to take the first step. Okay? For example, if we have a bad habit, say that we smoke cigarettes, and we want to quit, one of the first steps will be to stop walking around with cigarettes, okay? Or let's go through actually all the 7 stages, which is pretty cool. If I find it here. Okay. 7 steps. Amazing. I like that. Of manifestation. And most of them you already know, so don't worry to remember or memorize everything, and you're going to get the presentation as well, okay? The first thing is to visualize and think about what I really want, okay? For example, in this example will be, I want to quit smoking. To quit smoking, it means I have this vision of me living a more healthier lifestyle. It can be anything. It can be that we want to meditate on a day-to-day basis. It can be that we want to be richer. It can be that we want to spend more time in nature, whatever. This is the example of quitting a bad habit. So I will visualize it, I will imagine it, I will give it a word, I will see it. The second thing is the emotion. I will be excited about it. Why am I being excited? I love myself. I'm giving myself the love of and the appreciation to my body by quitting smoking. It's such a bad habit. I've been smoking for so many years now, and every time I decided to quit, it wasn't in the right time and it wasn't in the right way, and I failed. But right now I'm doing it out of the love for myself. I'm excited. I have passion and desire to be a healthier person. Okay? The third thing, the belief. I believe I can quit. If people around me have already quit, and listen to the logic, listen to me convincing myself in this, okay? Because a part of it is convincing the left side of the brain and not just the right side of the brain. It has to be in a balance. I'm convincing myself because I see that other people that are weaker than me, people that are not as strong as I believe I am, they've quit. So I believe I can quit myself. I believe as if I've already finished with the cigarettes, as if it's in my past. I will convince myself that I'm no longer this person that smokes. I have developed way beyond that. Acceptance. I accept the new belief as if it was the old belief. Meaning, from now on, for me, I never smoked. And you will see it sometimes, a lot of Israelis, they go traveling after the military service. And when they go traveling, a lot of them had never smoked cigarettes before that. And for me, I was smoking cigarettes out of the tourist thing. When you meet other tourists and everybody goes out to smoke. And I never considered myself a smoker in my life. And because I never considered myself a smoker, then when I came back to Israel, I didn't really want to smoke. But if I would have considered myself a smoker and I would have told myself, oh, I started smoking when I was traveling, it doesn't matter why, then it would be a thing that I would have to quit. But since I never imagined and never called myself a smoker, meaning I never thought about it as a bad habit that I actually acquired, then I never had to quit anything. And this is the same thing I tell to people that are trying to quit certain habits. I tell them, look, just imagine that you never smoked. Imagine that you never did this habit. It's not who you are. Now, obviously, it's hard for some people to make the switch, but when we say it and we affirm it, and we say it in certain times, just before we go to sleep, for example, when the subconscious is much more susceptible to suggestions, then these words are not just words. They're actually becoming a reality. Sort of like what we are doing here in the guided meditations and in the breathing exercises. In the beginning, we feel it a little bit, and afterwards, it becomes natural to us to breathe and to breathe in also the prana. It becomes an automatic process. Okay? The 5, the intention. Express intent for this change and to manifest with focus. This must be a conscious choice. I prefer to say it out loud, okay? I'm not a smoker. I'm a healthy person. 6 and 7, act. To act as if you're already in the new reality. Okay, for example, if you want to be happier, then you will start smiling more often. You will start finding the reasons to be happy more often. And you will see, like the example I gave you yesterday, if the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is say, I know I'm going to have an amazing day. If this is the first thing I'm going to do, I promise you, your day is going to be awesome. It's going to be much better because you made a conscious decision and you acted upon it. In the case of this example, I'm not going to go around with smokes or with a lighter anymore. I'm not going to take breaks with my colleagues that smoke. I'm going to step away from everything because I'm beginning to act as if it's my real new reality. And in the beginning, it might be a little bit hard, but when I act upon it, then I'm actually letting the universe, the world, God, the angels, whatever it is that you want to call them, I'm telling you that I am an active participant in this manifestation. It means that I'm actually not just saying, but I'm acting, and it means that I'm doing everything here. I'm thinking about it, I'm working on it, I'm living it in some way. And the last part is the part that most of us fail in. We're not letting go. What does it mean? It means that we said, okay, we're manifesting this, and yes, a happy life and abundance and everything, and we're always judging the reality when it doesn't give it to us, okay? Yes, I manifested, and I remember I thought about that amazing parking space, and I didn't get it. And then I doubt, and then I doubt my own abilities as a manifester. This part, I will give you two amazing examples. The first example is when you plant a flower. You put the seed, you open a little place in the ground, you put the seed, you put some water or humidity, you make the perfect conditions, and then you let go. You don't check every day to see if it's sprouted already, if it came out. You're not going to dig it out and check. You just know it's going to grow. And another great analogy is in the movies. You know, in the movies, the bad guys, they plant the bomb, and then they walk away from it knowing it's going to explode, and they're super cool about it. They're not looking back. If I would put the bomb, I would look back because it's super cool, right? But they just know. They don't need. And this is the biggest thing that happened to me as in this understanding of how things work was in my Breather initiation, because I understood that I just trusted. I trusted Spirit to provide me with the energy, to provide me with the strength I need to continue with my initiation. And then I started understanding that I need to trust more. I need to let go of the things that I think I have control of this character, of this ray, of this temporary body. And I need to just accept that the things are going to work exactly in this way. I need to let go, tell my intention, say what I really want, and watch it manifest in front of me. To understand and to tell the Spirit, thank you, whenever she provides me with a person that is exactly who I need for this. Okay? If I manifested this 10-day process, we manifested each other. And Emiliano, I was by accident talking with him, and I said, look, I really want to make a documentary, and voila, everything is synchronized completely. And the more we know that things are synchronized, and the more we understand, and we let go of this doubt. And we move from the having more to the being. And the being is amazing, because in the being, you don't want that much. You understand that everything works out exactly as it's supposed to work out. You just don't think about it too much. And then in the beginning, for example, when I was doing ayahuasca ceremonies, then every time I came with a few questions. I wanted to know, you know. And after a while, I just understood, forget about questions. Give me the information you think is best for me to get, whenever you think it is best for me to get it. And that is letting go, that is bowing, that is saying, you know something, I'm completely trusting. I'm trusting Spirit to guide me, I'm trusting Spirit to give me whatever she wants. But I need to let somebody know, and I need to know with myself, what do I want? Most people, when I stop them in the street and ask them, are you happy? They say, of course I'm happy. Really? But you are in a type of a prison, you know, at least in my country, then people are working 5 days a week, 10 hours, and they're not really happy because they don't have any time to be with themselves. They just say so because they're afraid of being the opposite, of sad. I'm not asking if you're sad. I'm just happy if you're content in your life. Are you waking up every morning with a smile on your face, knowing that you're going to a job that you enjoy, next to a partner that is fulfilling and filling you up and completing you exactly the way you want it to be? Most people will say probably no. I'm going to a job that I've been working for the last 15 years. I'm not happy with my relationship because we have so many issues, but we're afraid to leave each other. I'm not happy with the way I look because I don't exercise, because I don't have time, because I'm getting money to buy a car that I actually, need to get to the work that I'm working with anyway. And are you happy? And these are the questions I want you guys to ask here. This is your time. This is the time away from all the responsibilities that you have in your life and from all the children, the job, the university, whatever it is that you were doing. And ask yourself these very, very serious questions. What makes me happy? And the answer should be very, very intuitive, I enjoy time in nature. I enjoy time by myself. I've neglected parts of myself. I've given too much to somebody else. I've changed too much for other people to be happy, and I've taken a job that my parents are happy for me to take, but not for me to take. I've learned in university a degree that I'm not doing anything with because I don't really enjoy it and it's not really my call. So many mistakes that we have done pleasing other people instead of pleasing ourselves. Not in a selfish way, but in a loving, self-loving way. Not in an egoistic way, but in a way that says, something, I came here to enjoy life. These are the gifts I have, Every one of us, when we were in high school, then certain classes were easier than other classes because that's what we're supposed to learn. Everything that comes easily in the path of least resistance. And we can understand when we are resisting reality, when things are not working out for us, when we are not really happy. And it's not just phases of a week or 2 weeks, that you can have a wave that is up or down. When we are objecting to reality, we will suffer. Suffer in the way that Buddha said the human suffering is the forgetness of who we really are. Because we have forgotten. We have come in here like fallen angels and we've forgotten. That's why we're sort of suffering. It's not physical pain, but it is the pain of resisting the reality. And that's why we don't always get what we want. But we deserve it, and we are realizing this. And we are manifesting this more and more with synchronicity. And the years to come, it's going to happen even more and even more. The more self-aware we are, the less limiting we are to ourselves. Aywa, what time is it? This is just part 1 of the lecture. 2 o'clock. Okay, great. So this is a good time to stop. And we'll continue this workshop tomorrow. Are there any questions so far? Excitement. You guys are so good, but do you have questions and you're like shy? Yeah, okay. First one is always the patiach.
This is actually a question from the movie last night.
Okay.
Something that Jasmine mentioned. She briefly was talking about the alpha and beta frequencies.
Of the brain.
Can you expand on that?
I don't remember that part of the movie. Yeah. What did she explain? Tell me and I'll tell you.
It sounded like she was saying that in order to go breatharian, you had to transition your brain from an alpha to a beta state. If I got it correctly, but I don't know.
No, that doesn't sound.
She explained about that a lot, the foot of the gut.
Mm-hmm.
She, on the beginning of the book, you can look at when you have time.
It's the big black book here, right?
Alpha and beta and how it's affects.
Well, I can tell you about the frequencies of the brain either way, breatharian or not breatharian. We are moving between different frequencies every day, all the time. When we are waking up, we're somewhere, we're between the meditative state and the wake-up state of beta, okay? The gamma and the delta waves are more where we are manifesting, okay? It's people that are constantly connected, but we are actually getting there only in deep meditations. Or when we are healers. Healers usually when they go into their healing state, when they're practiced enough years, then they are actually more connected. And they have much more prana flow, you can say. Now, when we're moving between these different states, we're actually moving between different consciousness levels for us. Another consciousness level that most people know but don't call it a consciousness level is when we are in the 4th astral planes. The 4th, you can say vibration or density. when we are sleeping, for example, then our mind and our consciousness travels. It travels in a plane that is the astral plane that has less time. So sometimes we travel forward in time, and we have these like deja vus during our wake-up time of things we saw in a dream, or we travel backwards in time. But because it's a completely different dimension of experience, then our brain needs to translate it in some way. And since we do not know how to translate it, it uses objects and people and things that are similar to what we want to experience. So supposedly you experienced in the astral planes a death of a relative or anything like that, then the brain will create a dream that is similar to that in some way. So you will be able to visualize it and see it. But you were actually in a completely different place. But it was still you, but in a completely different place. So the same thing with different consciousness levels. Now, when you go into a deep, deep meditation and you let go of the thoughts and really get there, and some of the time we play around with it, sometimes we think and it's not bad, but the purpose is to get that moment to that of less and less and less thought. You can say that becoming the observer. For example, if I would ask you the question, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. And for just a second, we didn't think at all. We became the observer of our thoughts. So if I practice this in meditation, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. And it becomes a little bit longer, and a little bit longer every time, until we reach that state that we're not thinking at all. We're just like nothingness. But in that nothingness, when the brain stops thinking, then the subconscious and the higher self emerges. And the things that we thought, the things that bothered us, that we put in the subconscious, suddenly get all these answers. Because when you stop thinking, suddenly something else is assisting you. Something that is more powerful than you, more knowledgeable than you, that knows your potential futures, that knows other higher selves, that can connect you with them and show you the specific things. And that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on not thinking too much. Because thinking is like blocking us. But about Breatharianism, if you read it and you want to tell us later, the thing with the waves, I would love to know. I think I read it, but I read it like 5-6 years ago, so I don't remember. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the subconscious and affirmations and some tools of manifestation. And I'm going to give you another analogy, okay? Imagine that I'm holding a lamp, okay? And this lamp is right now working. I'm the giver of electricity, of energy to this lamp. Now, in the beginning, this lamp has no life of its own. It needs me, it requires me. And I'm giving it visualizations, and I'm giving it affirmations, and I'm giving it thought, power, and energy, and I'm giving it love, and I'm giving it everything it needs to survive. And slowly with time, the more I practice it, and the more I believe it, whatever it is that I want, a change of character if I want it, okay? If I want something in my life. And the more I give that energy, I can let go my hand slowly. I can let go, and the thing will have energy of its own. Okay, it became a part of my character. For example, when I was a kid, my parents got divorced when I was very, very young. I think it was like when I was 3 or 4 years old, and my mom had to raise both of us. And she was working as a teacher, and the teachers, well, they don't make a lot of money. So I think I grew up in an environment that we didn't spend a lot of money. And when I came of age, I became 18, 19, and I suddenly realized I'm very, very cheap. Meaning I'm not conservative, but I'm cheap. I don't want to spend any money because I got a salary in Israel in the military. I got 300 shekels, $80 a month in the military. So I had to be like that. But my friends, it started bothering them. We wanted to go out to a restaurant and they wanted to buy some stuff or to travel. And I realized to admit that I'm cheap, but I was cheap. And then I realized that I have a resistance to spending money. I didn't feel good with it because I felt that I needed to survive in some way. I was afraid. So I decided to trick myself. Every time I saw a beggar, I said I'm going to give him 10 shekels, which is like equivalent to like $3 or $4. Back then it was like half an hour's worth of work. Okay? So the first time I saw it, I forgot the fact that I did this thing at all. And the first time I saw it, suddenly I had this thing. I said, oh shit, I need to give him money. And then I reached out to my wallet and I had a resistance. I didn't want to give him. And all the excuses started coming up and telling me, you don't really need to, you worked hard for this money, you don't have a lot of money, why do you want to give somebody such an amount? Usually you give him 1/10 of that. And when I felt the resistance, I knew that a good change is coming my way because I am resisting. So I took it out Didn't enjoy it. I took out this, it was a bill back then, and I gave him, and he was like surprised, and he was like so grateful, and I was like, and I just walked away. and that really released. The first time is the hardest. And after 2 weeks, I was again walking around. I was a soldier in my uniform, and again I saw another beggar, and I had this rule that said that I have to give him. Okay, I was doing like 2 things simultaneously, changing myself and helping that guy. So I did it again. It wasn't easy. It was easier than the first time. And I did it 3rd time, 4th time. I believe I did it even up to like 10 times until I felt it came naturally to me. And then I didn't have any resistance left. And then something changed in my mind. And then I stopped becoming cheap and I started spending more. And even in the last 2 years, I've been spending much, much more because I understand that it flows. Money needs to come in and needs to go out. It comes in, it goes out. You cannot hold it. If you want to really allow abundance, you have to make it flow. I had this crazy Russian girlfriend, not the one that I have right now, the one before that. She was completely materialistic, very materialistic. And I really wanted to please her in every way. So I bought her things because I thought this is what is going to make her happy. And she broke every boundary I had. I usually, in a relationship, I believe that 2 people need to give. Now, since I have more, then I give more. I'm talking about material possession. I'm not talking about love and emotions. Right now, just material possession. And with her, it was like, she made me feel so bad if I didn't give her the things all the time. Now, one time I asked her, I wanted to check my limits. So I called her up and I told her, okay, we have this Zimmer. It's like a bungalow in the north, and I really want to take you there. And okay, it's going to cost us about $1,000. How much do you want to put? And then she gave me a talk. Which the talk was like, what do you mean? I'm a woman. I'm not supposed to pay for anything. I said, but for me, like I'm a very spiritual person, and for me, you need to give a little bit. You know, I can pay for the whole restaurant bill, and you can put the tip. So I would feel like there's an energy exchange between us. And after that talk, suddenly something changed in my mind, and I said to myself, okay, I will try to change. I will pay for everything. I will buy her the most expensive gift if only it will make her happier. And it did make her happier, but then I understood that she's putting all her happiness into material possession, into external things. And even as a spiritual teacher, I can't really reach her. So after a while, obviously, we just have to break up. But it was a great lesson to me because while I was doing that, I opened up myself to spending a lot more than I let myself spend until now. And because I was spending much more, I got much more in coming in. It was very simple. Now, I didn't understand it back in the day, like we never understand it when we only understand certain lessons retroactively, but everything that the Spirit provides has a reason. Every relationship we have, every dream we have, everything we actually do has a certain reason. Why do you think I popped up on your YouTube? Some of you are YouTubes. You know, all this synchronicity happens for a reason, because you needed this workshop in order to develop yourself or in order to teach somebody else one day. I don't know. We don't know. The Spirit works in mysterious ways. But when we do understand that everything has a reason, then we start working in a better way, you know. So, did you understand this, the whole concept? The more we provide it, the more we believe it, the more we become it. It can be anything. I just wanted to change my character. After that, I wanted to change my character to be a better person. So I forced myself in the beginning to smile more. I forced myself to help certain people. I forced myself to do certain things, and I saw the resistance just breaking apart. And when we analyze ourselves and we understand which fears are the ones that motivate us, okay? And where our ego doesn't want us to change. Because really, our ego is always in the comfort zone. And let me tell you something. He is never happy. You will give him something new, and it will be amazing for a week, just like a baby. And then after a week, okay, you know, next thing. What do I want next? And you become breatharians, and your spiritual ego will be like, oh yeah, I did this thing that I didn't thought was possible. One of the coolest things in the world. And after a while, you will want the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. They will never really be happy. So sometimes we need to say yes to our ego, and sometimes we need to treat him like a little baby that says, oh, you're not going to get what you want, you know? But be self-conscious about what comes from our ego and what comes from our true self, you know? So that was part 1 manifestation workshop. Yeah. So we meet here at 5:30, yeah? Awesome.